We have a question about al-khula. The brother says that his wife demanded khula, and he agreed, provided that she would give him back his gifts, the jewelry which he gave her. And she did. Then they decided to go back to each other, so he embraced her sexually before her period have started. So, is that permissible or not? How many times we say, whenever you are involved in certain activities, you must be aware of the Islamic rules and regulations, the Sharia part with regards to your segment. If you're a merchant, you have to know what is halal and haram in selling, in buying, in borrowing, in lending, in different types of investment. You know, what a shame that somebody is investing for 20, 30 years, he's making, you know, a lot of violations, and he simply says, I didn't know. So he has an accountant, and he has an advisor, and a counselor, and a lawyer. He doesn't want to mess up with the law, or with the IRS, with the tax, and with the government. But he is messing up with Allah and with the rights of the poor, with what is halal and haram. Whenever a couple get married, they are supposed to ask before the act, before they get married, how to get married properly. What are the pillars of the marriage, and how can we make sure that our wedding is valid? Not after they get married. One brother who invited me for, to talk to him and to his wife and reconcile, I just realized that this person married his wife, and she was still already married to somebody else. But she broke up with him and she left. And she told him that, I'm not married. So he married her. Even if a woman is divorced, it is not permissible to propose to a woman who's divorced during the idda, even if the husband is dead 4 months and 10 days. It is not permissible to reveal to this woman or to her guardian that I'm interested in marrying you. You have to respect that this person was married this woman one day. So you have to wait for the idda. Then after the idda you can propose. It is not permissible. So I told him that, you know what, both of you, your relationship is not valid. Your relationship so far is adultery, other than the fact that you did not know, so there is a shubha or a doubt. But now after you guys have known, this is not permissible. You have to separate from each other. Again, she said, well, I don't have anywhere else to go, I don't have another house. It doesn't matter. That can be sorted out, not because you don't have another place to go, you don't have a family to take you now. You live with somebody who is not lawful for you. It's not permissible. A person who gave khula to his wife should understand that the khula is not divorce. Have a different ahkam than the talaq, as I will explain inshallah in a little bit. Assalamu alaikum. So al-khula is not a typical divorce. Al-khula is a separation based on a compensation, that you collected back your dowry, or lesser than that, your gifts, or whatever you guys agree to. If you agree to a certain amount and she pays you, or she promises to pay you, then you give her khula, even if you say you're divorced, but this is khula, even if you pronounce the word divorce. But this divorce is not a typical divorce because you separated from each other for a compensation. She compensated you for that. She said, I want out, and here is much whatever you guys agreed to. In this case, she is absolutely separated from you, and it is not permissible to take her back, even within the iddah, without a new marriage contract and without her consent and the consent of her guardian, like you're marrying a woman from the scratch, because that is khula. So just resuming having sexual relations with her, assuming that, okay, she is still in the idda, and that was our first divorce, that was not divorce. That is not divorce. In the case of divorce, as Allah Almighty says, الطلاق مرتان فإمساك بمعروف أو تسريح بإحسان. Then, in the waiting period, which is وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوء. The 3 periods, or the 3 months for a woman who does not experience the period, is the waiting period after the first and the second divorce. If the husband decides otherwise, decides to reconcile, to take his wife back, then in this case, he's free to do that without having to process a new marriage contract, without even the consent of her guardian, even without her consent, because she is still officially married to him. Okay? That's why in Surah Al-Talaq, Allah the Almighty says, لا تخرجوهن من بيوتهن ولا يخرجن إلا أن يأتين بفاحشة مبينة. So in this case, the divorced woman will stay in the same house with the ex-husband who just divorced her until the idda is over. When the idda is over, the man would not have an access to take her back to his marriage life. What if they both want to reconcile after 3-4 months later? They want to reconcile. How many times he divorced her? Only once or 2 times. Okay, in this case, it is permissible to propose to her from the beginning, and the guardian agrees. Then you agree to a new dowry, and you process a new marriage contract with the presence of 2 male just witnesses, Muslim witnesses. So it's like you're marrying her from the scratch. That is exactly true. In the case of khula, once you agree to the khula from the beginning, that's called separation, and that will be بينونة صغرى. البينونة, there is طلاق بائن, there is a minor or بينونة and a major بينونة. The major بينونة where the husband would not have an access to take or remarry his ex-wife back, unless if she marries somebody else. Why? Because he has consumed the 3 divorces. Allah the Almighty says, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ مِن بَعْدُ حَتَّى تَنْكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ. خلاص, he divorced her 3 times. So in this case, he cannot simply take her back even if they want to get married from the scratch and he's willing to pay a new dowry. No, it's not up to you. من بعد أن تنكح فلا تحل له من بعد حتى تنكح زوجا غيره. Not unless if she marries another man. And that should not be arranged, pre-agreed to it. Rather, it should be done naturally. She marries somebody else, then if the marriage didn't work out and he divorced her and the idda is over, so her first ex-husband, if he wanted to marry her and she agrees to that, that is permissible. Okay? That is called بينونة كبرى. طلاق بائن, irreversible. بينونة كبرى. He cannot even take her back to his marriage life with a new marriage contract. Why? Because he consumed the 3 divorces. In the case of the khula, بينونة but صغرى. It is irrevocable, but it can be revoked through processing a new marriage contract. Assalamu alaikum.